We've now found all the private capital on the planet. It's still not enough. And I think we're going to flip from, oh, why would anyone IPO? It's not cool, to there's going to be banking teams with guns against their head told, start typing, start planning. We want to get all these things public, right?
Yeah.
And Jason, I think it's spot on, right? And yeah, I was thinking about that. This is totally obscure. I'm only going to make the reference because Harry loves it when I go back 10 years. I'm going to go back 120 years. If you read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, which is the definitive book about trading, the Jesse Livermore book about trading, there's that piece where he says in 1904, he suddenly watched all the companies bringing forward their planned capital raises, and he suddenly realizes, oh, the smart money's realized there's not infinite money available. I better get mine, right? And I think in a weird way, Jason nailed it. That's exactly what's happening here, right? And the one thing that would be counter-narrative to that was actually for SpaceX, because this has made it at the margin harder for SpaceX to go public because it's a more complex story with losses. But then I remembered Elon operates like the Marines, no investor left behind, right? And the truth is, this makes it harder for SpaceX, but easier for X.AI, because he's basically taken that, which would have been the orphan little Chucky in the storm, right? And instead he's co-attached it to SpaceX, and he says, now we're going to save all my investors, which is at some investor level very interesting, and we can talk about that in a second. But exactly, it's lashing XAI to the OpenAI mast, and then as Jason says, every one of these things are going to be diving for the line to get that capital. This is the rehabilitation of the IPO, and the end of being private is cool, not for any reason other than what we always said. When the cost of capital gets expensive enough in the private markets, people are going to go public. You called it, Jason. Exactly right. That is the kind of boring but key thing that happened.
I hate to say it, and with the caveat, rehabilitation of the IPO for a certain size of company, for Anthropic, for OpenAI, for X, or for SpaceX, not for cute CRM for doctors in certain geographies.
No, I think 4 billion growing 50% or more is the new IPO to have a good IPO. That's where we're at today. 4 billion growing 50% or more. That's sort of like equipment share or above, right? It's just, if you're a bit below that, like look at the massacre of this year. If you're everyone except Palantir is below that line and they've been massacred.
and right, we have. Jason made that comment. I piled in on it. And I do have to say at the same time, you're going to be able to cite Figma and say, oh my God, the massacre of 2026 is horrible. And you're right. And we will come to that in terms of what the cutoff is or what the market doesn't like. But what I think the story about Anthropic, OpenAI, and SpaceX says is, even for the things that people most like, you're going to need to get capital from the public markets.
Well, listen, I think the thing that OpenAI keeps saying, and it is very compelling to see it, is that compute and revenue have a one-to-one correlation. So as long as that holds, it makes sense to consume every single penny of capital on all of planet Earth, because it's one-to-one. You would literally raise every dollar at any plausible valuation, because every single dollar you can put into compute leads to a dollar or more out. It is, at least for top line, it's the greatest money-making machine ever generated in the history of mankind. It's a perpetual motion machine for the moment. So you would suck up every dollar.
I think this is a weird analogy, Jason, but I was thinking, there was a period of about 10 years when sales and marketing spend was like that for SaaS. You put in the money and you got out the revenue, and the revenue was worth more than the money went in. And you're exactly right. Now what's happening on a far larger scale is, you're exactly right. I mean, Microsoft said the same thing on their investor call. They're limited on compute, so they just got to allocate it, but they could turn compute into money at a drop of a hat.